What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video, and today I have a simple question to answer to you today. What is the best case scenario for the Republicans come this fall? That is right, folks. We're doing an updated best case scenario map for the 2022 Senate elections after all the primaries are done, and we got some new polling data to really show us what's actually competitive, well, somewhat competitive. We looked at fundraising numbers, where both parties are spending, etc. So this is the best case scenario for the Republican Party come this fall. And again, this is not an official prediction, right? This is a disclaimer. This is if every single thing goes right for the Republicans come November 8th, right? If every single thing goes right, which is not likely. But could it happen? Yes. So it's still a prediction, technically, but it's more so like best case scenario prediction. Everything goes right. And yeah. Now, before I forget, of course, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share it to friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow the mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And join the channel. That is right, folks. For just 10 cents a day, you can join Real American Politics, which, pretty good deal. As well, Real American Politics, I do daily content. And for 10 cents a day, you can help support that daily content. So join the channel today. Alright, let's get into today's video. So this is a disclaimer. Once again, there will be a disclaimer on the screen somewhere. This is not an official prediction. This is best case scenario, and yes. So let's get into it, all right? Let us start with the states that would be safe Republican in this scenario. So let's start with Alaska. And reminder, this scenario, Murkowski loses. That's the best case scenario in Alaska. Murkowski loses, and we actually get a Republican in Alaska. Like, I know Murkowski is running as a Republican, but votes more like a Democrat, but whatever, alright? So, in this scenario, Murkowski loses, thank God. Of course, all of these states would be safe Republican. Do I gotta say much? And in best case scenario, Vance kills Tim Ryan politically. YouTube, don't take that out of context. In Ohio by like 12, 13 points. That's probably like the best case scenario for Vance. Like, he's not gonna win by 20-something, but he's going to win best case scenario like a 12-point victory, so a safe margin. You also got Alabama, South Carolina, and the great state of Florida, all safe Republicans. So already in this scenario, Republicans have 47 Senate seats, and we're nowhere near done. We're nowhere near done. As for the Democrats, the for sure safe states would be California, Hawaii, Maryland, New York, and Vermont. I know that Trafalgar came out with that poll in Vermont. I just don't believe it. I just do not believe for a second that Vermont is within 10 points. So yeah, these states I would say, you could say, in this scenario, best case scenario for Republicans, are the for sure safe states. I'm also going to include two more. For the Republicans, you get Wisconsin. Best case scenario, Ron Johnson, gets dictator margins, in Waukesha, Ozaukee, etc., like he did in 2010 and 2016. But also, he gets Trump margins in the rest of the state, in southwestern Wisconsin, Grant County, etc., the Driftless area. As for the Democrats, I would say Oregon. Like, best case scenario, I just don't see within 10. Republicans really don't have a real candidate in that state, so it would be safe Democrat in Oregon. As for Illinois, this is a tough one, all right? Illinois is kind of the one that's, like, in between. The reason that I would still put it safe is Republicans, I just don't think have the best of candidates. Now, could Bailey on the ballot, maybe help the Republican? Yeah, but this was a race that I thought Republicans could have won if they picked a decent candidate. They really didn't. Plus, you had one of the Senate candidates, refuse to concede. It was a complete mess. So, Illinois, in a best case scenario, would still have a like safe Democrat. This could have been a pickup opportunity, if Republicans had a good candidate. They really don't. And again, I have my opinions on Bailey for the governorship. I think he's going to do a lot better than people expect. But even then, I don't think he would be able to carry the Senate candidate that far. So Illinois, in my opinion, would still be safe Democrat in this scenario. All right, let's go from northeast to west. We usually go west to east. Let's go northeast to west. So let's start in New Hampshire. In this scenario, I think Bolduc would win kind of easily. 3-4 point victory. He gets Trump margins from 2016 on top of, getting all those Gary Johnson voters. So I would see, a lean Republican victory in New Hampshire. Kind of the ceiling, I would say. Like, you have a high floor but a low ceiling in New Hampshire for the Republicans. Like, at best case scenario, you win by 3 points. Worst case scenario, you're probably losing by 3 points. So it's somewhere in that range. I really don't see it going any further. But New Hampshire would go Republican in this scenario. Now, Connecticut. It would be within 10 points. And this is a race I may make a whole video on. Like, the governorship is just collapsing. The Republicans blew that one completely. But the Senate race, that may be within 10 points. Now, will it? Who knows? But Democrats are pouring a lot of money in Connecticut. That makes me wonder, I want to see some polling, though. I want to see some data from Connecticut. But from what I've seen, Democrats don't seem confident in Connecticut. I mean, they're spending millions of dollars in that state. That makes me really wonder, will it be within 10? Best case scenario, yes. In this scenario, Bob, from the governorship, Bob Stefanowski, he starts to pick up his campaign, probably wins, maybe carries a candidate within 10 points. But we just got to see, because Connecticut's kind of a weird state politically. Everybody thought the governorship was really close, but there's an off chance the Senate race is closer. It's weird. But either way, I think Connecticut, best case scenario, likely Democrat. Pennsylvania, Oz wins by, 4 or 5 points. He gets really good margins in the Philly suburbs, like Chester, Delaware counties, etc. But also doesn't do half bad in the T, the most conservative part of the state. He does decent there. Like, not get Trump margins, but not far behind. He gets really good margins in the Philly suburbs. And does good enough to win by 3 to 4, potentially 5 points. Best case scenario, I think that's reasonable. North Carolina, like the Republican, borderline safe. There's really not much to say there. I mean, Ted Budd is going to already win by 4 to 5 points. Best case scenario, he probably wins by 9 to 10. So, North Carolina, likely Republican. Georgia, people are starting to realize Walker's probably going to win that state. I mean, we're starting to see the football boost, like others on Twitter said. But even then, I think in a best case scenario, he wins by like 5 points. Essentially, he gets the exact same result Trump did in 2016 in the state. Around a 5-point victory, likely Republican. Now, Colorado. This is a weird one. This is one of those states where a lot of the polling has shown the race a bit closer than usual. But this is a tough one. And you know me, I'm not a big fan of O'Dea. But I think in a best case scenario, I think Colorado would be within like a point, half-point victory for Bennett. But I have some questions about O'Dea's campaign. I mean, some of the stuff he's doing is not good at all. And I know it's Colorado, but come on. You can't isolate your base that much, even in a state like Colorado. It's not like Massachusetts where you have 67% Democrats. Colorado, it's, I think, like 55, 56%. It's a lot, but you can't just abandon that 44%. It's not a good campaign strategy. Arizona, I would say, 3-4 point, potentially 5-point victory for Blake Masters. Best case scenario. Polling already shows within the margin of error. So best case scenario, he wins by 3 to 4 points. More than likely Trump margins from 2016. Adam Laxalt, my opinion on this. I think he's already going to win by quite a bit. But best case scenario, he just romps it. He gets really close to flipping Las Vegas. Washoe County would probably flip in this scenario. Like a 6-point victory for Laxalt would be the best case scenario for the Republicans in Nevada. Now we have Washington, the one state that a lot of people are, there's a lot of debate about. There's a ton of debate. Is the Washington Senate race truly competitive? I made a video on this. I kind of said yes to a lesser extent. Now, in a best case scenario, what would the Washington Senate race look like? Well, again, the point has been scarce beyond belief from this state. But the point we have that actually has a good sample size, not, 15 people down the street, type of samples. Like 1,000 likely voter sample sizes from Trafalgar show the race within the margin of error. Well, do some math. I think a best case scenario, I think Republicans pull off the upset in Washington as a best case scenario. Again, this isn't a prediction. I still think Smiley's going to lose by a couple points, but in a best case scenario, Republicans pull off the upset in the state of Washington by like a half point. And that's that, folks. The best case scenario for the Republicans this fall. You can make the argument about Colorado, all right? Maybe, all right? But even then, this is kind of the ceiling, I would say. 55 seats is like the best case scenario for the Republicans. Colorado, Washington could be intertwined. You could make the argument for 56. But for now, folks, this is the best case scenario for the Republicans come this fall. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow the mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yes, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.